Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UPNradio.com.
We're back with Plus the Show. I'm Kathy Deach.
And I am Eva Tingley. Have you missed us all week?
I know.
We missed you.
Like, dreaming about us.
I know. We had such a good show last week. But guys, one of my besties is here this week.
Totes,
and I'm very excited to introduce her to the world, even though the world already knows her, but like not personally.
It's exciting when you have like a bestie.
I know.
It's really cool. And it's going to be like...
I don't know if Jocelyn thinks that I'm her bestie, but I feel like she's mine. You know how that works?
Yes.
Sometimes you're like, I don't actually just said that, and she probably doesn't feel the same way, but I feel like it.
Does.
I don't know. I'm just feeling like, I just wanted to put that a caveat there. Just wanted to say, maybe not.
I mean, Eva is a little obsessed with her.
I do love her a lot. I do love her a lot.
Mucho.
Mucho, mucho.
Yes, mucho, mucho. It must feel like when Rosa Graziano is on.
Yes.
And like every now and then you're like, wait a minute, what's happening? And we're like, oh, sorry, college.
I know. You're like, we did this. And I'm like, wait, what? But can we talk about your hair for a second? Because it looks real shiny and amazing.
Please talk about my hair, guys.
It looks so good that literally the show before us came in and was like, stop. Your hair looks amazing.
And I will just say that I got stopped out of the salon by someone who was a hairdresser who asked me about my hair. And
you were like, yeah.
You have to go upstairs to Linda Camen's
yes.
salon. I don't know why everybody does. Guys, I have no product in this thing. I mean,
which is unbelievable because you have like a lion's mane.
I do. It's a big, thick head of hair that goes...
Like it has its like own like atmosphere.
Yeah,
the whole
totally
thing, right?
does. When I need to go, like last week, my hair was pretty big.
Yeah, but it looks amazing. Like it looks so
Thank
sleek
you.
And like just.
This was an oil treatment she did. She does like a. I mean, I don't know. They call it something else. It's not really an oil. It is, but
it's.
They brush the heck out of it and like get
they get your scalp all scratched up and stuff.
Oh, and look, a sensible soap.
Oh,
Thanks,
which kind did you get?
I got the dual side comb-free and bentonite.
That is my favorite one because the one side is soft and the other side is scrubadocious.
So you get all your needs taken care of.
It's my favorite.
Guys, just go. And if you don't live in LA, we forgive you.
But you can order her products online.
But you can totally order these soaps. They're so dope. And by the way, I have hooked a friend from New York onto her, and she literally flies out now every 6 weeks to get her hair done.
It's amazing because she uses real natural products, so your hair is not like dead looking. Like literally, I've never had the hair. Like, look, my hair is below the screen. You guys cannot see that. I have never had the hair this long since I was like a child because my hair used to be just couldn't handle it. It would just be like, I'm dead. But because I've been Linda Camen's treating it, following her regimen.
It grows, and she has really curly hair, my friend, and she's a redhead, and it's hard to get the right color. Her color, she's obsessed with.
Oh my gosh, her color is
and
beautiful.
Her curls, like she was like, look at this. She was showing me how much new growth she had. I mean, she's so excited. Anyway, thanks, Linda. Wink, wink. We didn't even mean to do that.
We didn't. We didn't have that planned, but it happened.
Get compliments. So
you did.
It's hard not to say anything.
But we did do something fun this week.
We did. We have a guest coming onto the show in a few weeks, Melanie Field, and she is in a play at the Geffen called
Significant Other.
I don't know why I always want to call it like Simply Gorgeous or something. It's really weird how in my mind it looks different. But it's Significant Other. We went to the Geffen.
So go to see it at the Geffen. And there's only a few weeks left, right?
Yeah. And it should be seen. I mean, the LA Times wrote a rave about it. We froze our tushes off on the street talking to her forever.
No, I'm sorry. you froze. They lied to me and said, we're going to walk to the car. And I was like, okay, I'm this other way. And then I drove by and they were still talking on the street. And I was like, liars! Liars!
The three of us were talking for a long time.
I mean,
Her
we were.
and I just talked a little longer.
Extra long.
Because
they were like,
we
were wicked! So I just licked the microphone.
Ooh, yum.
Yum, tasty.
People on the podcast, sorry
salty.
You missed that.
Allow.
Just a for the next person. But I will say she was a fellow Shen Shen. She was Shen Shen in Wicked, which was really fun.
Right.
And
Which, if you don't know, Kathy also played.
Yes. So we had a fun kiki about that. But what I love about the play is that the part is not written as a plus size girl.
No, it's just written as his
best
bestie.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about a gay guy sort of coming to grips with all of his best girlfriends getting married. And there's like the holdout girl, and Melanie plays that one, and she's the very last one, and it's the one.
And they
he's the
assumed that
closest
she
to.
would be the first one, right? Like, didn't they make the joke that they thought she would be the first one?
I don't know. I think so. I don't really. Maybe that's.
I thought
so
that's what
possible.
they joked about.
But what I loved about it was that she ends up having a hot husband.
Oh,
There's
she has
no
like a totally
comments
hot.
on it.
Yes.
It's like so refreshing to see yourself reflected, like knowing, oh, that can happen to me.
Yes.
And I kept saying to her, like, no, you don't understand how important this is. It's like really important that you're doing this part and you're also kicking it out of the park.
Yeah.
I mean,
I also wish that they had a little bit of air conditioning in that theater because that poor guy was so sweaty.
I don't think
and like
that's
he was
air
so
conditioning,
so
Eva.
sweaty and
That's
like spitting all over everybody because he was
He
sweaty.
had
I was
his
just like,
emotional life. He's been, guys. He never leaves the stage.
No, he never leaves the
goes
stage,
from
not
one scene to
once.
one scene to one scene. It's very quick cut, and he's unbelievable.
Yes.
And you should just go see it and tell Melanie we said hi.
Yes.
But also it was funny because we definitely had feelings about her eating on stage, and we were like, why did they do that? Why did they have her eat? And she was like, well, the character wasn't written for plus size, and I just think that's like they call her like a serial obsessed girl and like the character breakdown. We're like, oh, well, they should maybe take into consideration.
Yeah, because you're the only one who eats. But we didn't like it.
But her outfit's banging.
Oh my God.
Banging.
Okay. Her wardrobe was like covetous.
Yeah.
Like you were just like,
No, I was taking notes.
I want that high-low dress. I want that cardigan.
sequin.
I want that sequin. I want
Yeah.
all of the things.
Yeah, so even if you just love plus size fashion and want to get inspiration, you should see
the show.
All the costumes in the show are amazing. But yeah, so glad we went and did that. May 17th, she'll be on the show. So
Oh, did Jarvis put up a cute picture of us at the show? Jarvis, did you put that up? There's a cute picture of Kathy and I holding a playbill, which I think really like shows Kathy and my personalities very much. Kathy's very serious, and I'm like,
about the show, I was very
Kathy was very serious. So
somehow we ended up in the second row. I wonder how that happened.
How did that happen?
Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah.
That's your name? I think so.
Isaac, yeah.
I'm looking at him. Hi, Isaac. I hope you're watching.
He's not.
No. So what she even wore, Melanie wore a gorgeous wedding gown.
Oh my gosh, it was really beautiful.
In the show. And it's so funny because we have been planning for a week to talk about plus size bridesmaids.
Dresses. Well, bridal gowns.
Bridal gowns. Brides dresses is what I just said.
Yes.
Because obviously never married, never done that. That's not what you call them.
Which it is a very traumatizing experience as someone who did go 7 years ago almost to go get a bridal gown.
If you're listening to the podcast, there might be some eye roll, like looking up at the ceiling.
No, because honestly, it was very traumatic for me because they have this giant, thick book of bridal gowns, right, that you can look at. Except if you're plus size, then there's like this tiny sliver of a section that you can look through. And I literally sat in the dressing room as they handed that to me and had the door closed and was alone in there for a minute and just sobbed because I was like, I don't get to choose a dress that I really, really love. I did end up choosing a dress that I really, really loved. And it was the first dress that I tried on. And I was like, and it can't be the first dress I try on. I want to try on other dresses. But it was the first dress that I tried on. But it was really, really devastating to me to not be able to just go and be like, I want to try this on and try this on. And so the fact that the freaking New York Times did a whole article write-up about there being so many more dresses available to plus-size girls.
Lines that include bridal gowns are
But it was
expanding
really
into.
only from 18 to 24. So even if you're bigger,
yeah, in that
that's
one,
hard.
well, in that one that they specifically
talked about.
talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
But I will say that guy,
Dan O'Neill.
Don O'Neill, he's a designer for Thea. Do you think you pronounce it like that?
Yeah.
He said plus size on the runway has been consumer driven, a consumer driven necessity, not a trend, which I find really, really interesting. Like basically saying it's not fashion that's taking care of this. It's the consumer saying, screw you, make me a dress that fits me.
Yeah, because I can't imagine, I mean, I can only imagine that at the end of the season, there must be so many smaller dresses left over because 67% of American women are size 14 and above.
Yeah. I'm sure they're suffering. But
yeah,
also,
so you're spending all that money on dresses that people are not buying.
What we were talking about
Or women
earlier
are not
today
buying.
is that it's one of the few experiences that it's almost guaranteed that someone's going to walk into a store and want to have it be an event. Like
No, it is an event.
So many like that people all across the country, in LA and New York and maybe some other places. Oh, I have a special event. I want to go somewhere to try on gowns. Like that's like. It's a very specific elitist
right,
thing.
but it's not something that you bring your mom and your mother-in-law
Not
and your
necessarily,
besties
sure.
and everybody, your cousin, your gay cousin. You bring everybody with you
Right.
to get their opinion on what your dress
Right.
is.
And this is still this is a shopping experience that still lives in a brick and mortar.
Yes.
So it is very interesting that this is the type of fashion that is bringing plus size. It seems into the brick and mortar faster than other.
Yes,
than
because
contemporary
shocker,
stuff.
fat girls get married.
Exactly. What?
What?
We're magical
Who
unicorns who
knew?
can get married and everything. Yeah. So I just find that's sort of like, oh, maybe then they'll catch on that maybe if you had higher end clothes for us to try on in stores, we would also buy those too.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead
That's
of
why it's so
disposable
shocking
fashion.
that City Chic closed their brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know why that happened.
I don't know either. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a guest who was so devastated. Oh, it was Melanie.
It was Melanie.
Who said, I'm so devastated. I thought I was just going to pick something up at, City Chic to wear to an event. And I was like, what? It's closed?
Yeah.
She was like
Yeah.
horrified. Yeah. So maybe this is a trend in things. Let's hope. I mean, it's still like I think Sanford Marcus, our dear friend, sent this to me first before, and then you did, like on the same day.
No, we sent it like I had sent it, and then I saw the email come in from him, and I was like
literally mind
whoa,
hold. Yes.
total jinxies,
total mind hold.
total
Yes,
email jinxies.
Exactly. So, and I think he even mentioned like it was the only one in New York City that was doing that.
Right,
That
yeah.
had it. And why should we stand there with an open back imagining what a dress looks like on
Like that
us?
it might look like this.
Yeah. I will say that my dad and the guy he works for, he's a costumer, they both made my sister's dress.
Oh, so your sister had a couture wedding
so my
gown?
sister did have a couture gown.
Emery,
and
so
it looked-
fancy.
And she literally was like, I love Princess Kate's dress. I want it to look like that. And literally, I wish we had a picture of it. We'll get there one day. I'll post it on our Instagram. But she literally like had Princess
I
Kate's
should give you
dress.
my pictures of my wedding
You
gown.
should
I love the
have.
back of my
Yeah,
wedding
do
gown so
it.
much.
Guys,
Poor
tag us in
Peter
your-
was like so tortured and like all the buttons that he had to undo. He was just like, oh my God, seriously, why did you get this one? Why did you get this dress? I'm like, we can just lift it up.
Can you guys? I really want you guys to tag us in your plus size
In your plus size wedding dresses.
Please do.
Yeah.
And we'll repost a bunch of them. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I'm also trying to get on Facebook. It's not working. Let's talk about
The Fat Slam.
the Fat Slam poet. The Fat Joke.
Her name is
Or the doctor.
Rachel Wiley.
The Doctor Joke? The Fat Joke? What was it called? The Fat Joke, I think.
Yeah,
it's
the
called.
Fat Joke. Yeah. Which was like funny and kind of I wanted to cry.
I definitely cried. And I definitely thought that she was amazing.
Yeah, and she already has like 7 million, more than 7.5 million views.
When by the time I made
this,
by the time it's probably more.
yeah,
It definitely
which
was
we
shared.
cannot run it, guys. So go look it up on our
Look
Facebook
it up on our
page.
Facebook. A lot of you did, and a lot of people shared it already.
Yeah, because it's really powerful and it's the truth. I mean, I had the same exact experience last week when I went to go see a new doctor.
Yeah. Tell them.
Yeah, so I went to go see a new doctor, and I have not had any blood work done with this new doctor. I have nothing. And I am somebody who doesn't like to know how much I weigh. The last time I weighed myself, I was like 260 pounds, and I was like, okay, that sent me into a tailspin, so I'm just not going to look anymore. So when I go to the doctor, I just ask them I'm just going to go my back on the scale, and you can take the number. You don't have to. And I did this on this doctor's trip, and when I was in with the doctor, she told me, I don't know if you remember that last year I had a miscarriage, and my gynecologist had never said like why. He was like, look, it happens to 50% of women. Like, it just happens. Like, there's no explanation. It just happens. And without me ever, I didn't even ask this new doctor. I didn't say I had a miscarriage. Why? Nothing. I mean, obviously you have to disclose that you had one.
Right.
And she was like, oh, you probably had a miscarriage because of your blood sugar. Your sugars are too high. And I was like, really? Because the last time I had my blood work done, my doctor was like, these are really good numbers. Like, I'm really, like, you're really healthy. And she was like, well, was it your A1C or whatever it was? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it was. And she was like, yeah, but, and she's like pointing at the paper where my weight is, pointing at it, like forcing me to look at it. So now I know I weigh 237 pounds, guys. She's pointing at it. She's pointing at it going, this is why, this number is why.
Without even,
I don't have high blood pressure. I have
no information.
Nothing.
She knows nothing about you except for that you had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And that you're in her
November.
office.
Yeah.
That's all she knows.
Yeah.
You're getting a new one, right? We talked about
yes,
this?
I have to.
Can someone please help us? Eva needs a great gynecologist who takes her insurance. Can you really write us an email if you know a great gynecologist?
Yeah, in
because
LA.
I personally am so mad for her. I am going to go with her to her appointments now.
I know.
And not to make sure she's not bullied. Like,
I know, because I
get
totally
mad every time you talk to me about it.
I know. I totally was like, well, I think no, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what to say to you right now.
And you just needed Philly behind you. Be
I
like,
know.
no, she doesn't. No, her numbers are fine. She's changed her entire diet, actually. If anything, they're better. Go fuck yourself. Like, she needs me.
Oh my god, I do need Kathy there to be my. She's like my anger. She's like my anger translator. I'm like, yeah, no, I think I am
exactly that. The Obama anger translator.
Yes, you are.
It's me, Nucky.
Yes,
that's amazing. I love that so much. We have one more thing.
Wait, but we didn't even talk about what she talked about. And the fat joke. Like, she talks about how that is. Like, how. Like, a fat girl will go in and like have a spider bite, and they'll be like, have you thought about that weight loss surgery? Yeah. And you're just like, honestly, because it says in the beginning, she starts it off by saying, there's this joke where a man goes in and he's like, doctor, my arm hurts when I do it like this. And the doctor says, don't move your arm like this then. But a fat girl walks in and she's like, doctor, my arm hurts when I do this. And they're like, well, have you thought about weight loss surgery?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and she talks about like you get a flu shot, and they're like, well,
yeah,
you probably don't have bronchitis, you're just fat.
Yeah, and they roll down the list of it, and she just piles it on, and then she like unpacks all of her feelings about that, which we all have.
And then it's like, then really what it comes down to is then fat girls don't go to the doctor because they know that that's going to happen.
Exactly, and we have definitely broken that down here and in our articles for Books for Better Living. But her artistic expression of that
is amazing.
Somehow was like a stone for people. And they were like, oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that someone is standing up there in all of her gloriousness with that sparkly headband.
Yeah.
Will you talk to us? We want callers in. Rachel, we should have you call in one week.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
and talk to us. Yes, please. I'm gonna tag her in this.
Tag her.
Talk to us. But I want to push on because we have so much to talk to Jocelyn about. We also have really good Hollywood news.
Yeah.
Aidy Bryant from SNL is.
You know her because she's the fat one from SNL.
Oh my god.
If you don't know her by name, I'm just rolling my eyes at you right now.
She also does all the amazing music videos. Like,
yes.
whenever she's like hip hop singing. Yes, she like makes me cry laughing. So good. She's they're working with Lindy West on an adaptation of Shrill, her book.
Of Lindy West's book,
Yes,
Shrill. Yeah.
and they're all in the writer's room together. They're all like exec producing,
I love
which is
it.
so exciting. And she's gonna
Star?
play her, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah. So
And you and I talked about it because Edie Bryant doesn't have that same like.
there's a gravitas
Yes,
that
to
Lindy
Lindy,
West
yeah.
that is going to be in, but maybe 80 doesn't. She just hasn't been doing it because it's SNL.
Right.
But all of a sudden she's like, woo.
Yeah, she's like
just like
boom, grounded. I'm here.
Grounded.
She's just like has a
Trump.
voice down. Her voice changes completely. She's like, hello.
Hi, I'm Lindy West. But Lindy West doesn't even talk like
No,
that.
but Lindy West has like a something about her voice is like
Yeah.
she's just like here. She's
Yeah.
right here.
She is.
If you're not watching, you're missing out.
Eva's doing a back bend and showing us her fierce belt, which is really why she just did that.
No, I really
'Cause she has
wasn't.
really a cute fierce
I
belt
really do have
on.
a cute belt on, but
And a
that's really not what I was
fascinator
having.
And a belt. She has a belt.
Yeah, look at how cute. This is an Eco Love by Bunny Love.
But we're so excited. There's more Hollywood news too later, but we definitely want to share that with Jocelyn.
Yes, let's go
since she's
take a
sister.
break so we can bring in my bestie.
Yes, please,
I hope.
Jocelyn.
I hope.
Ayanna, when we're back.
You know that 67% of American women are size 14 and above.
You mean they look like this?
Yeah, girl.
So then where are we in television and film?
And where are we in fashion magazines and clothing stores?
Yeah.
So we want to help out entertainment and fashion and media.
Catch the F up.
Topics get hot. We want to hear what y'all have to say.
And they will get hot.
Absolutely,
I
it's
have
real.
a question for you. It's kind of like a dirty little one. So if you had to do a love scene with somebody else famous, who would it be?
Oscar Isaac.
Oh, love how I asked you that and you had an answer like right away.
We sang, we laughed, we cried. We
You
actually
gotta go
didn't
back.
cry.
No, we didn't cry.
We didn't cry.
Everybody should be able to be seen in. I mean, maybe not every single campaign, but let's try to include it in as many campaigns as we can.
Witchy poo, we told you.
Just putting it
We're
in
gonna
the cauldron for you.
We're gonna get those candles.
Yeah.
People are having sex with us. We need to show that we're like part of this society, and being sexual is part of that.
Absolutely.
So tough titty, you're fucking uncomfortable.
Watch a fat girl love herself.
Applause. Applause.
But just
applause.
us.
Just us applauding.
Applauding.
Thanks.
So good.
Plus this.
You know that 60
Hi, we're back. I'm looking
I don't
at your
know.
comments.
Hi
Looking at your
guys.
comments.
We're looking at your comments.
Thank you
and
so much.
We have. Oh dang it, Jocelyn! Give me that paper. Give me that paper.
Here.
Oh yeah, because she wants to.
Because I
want
want to read off all the amazing things that Jocelyn
Yes.
has done in her life.
Drum
Okay.
roll.
Jocelyn Ayanna is not only an actress that has been in everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything, okay? Most notably in Roman Israel Esquire with Denzel Washington.
Hello.
You may have known who that is.
Maybe.
Oh, Whiplash with Miles Teller.
Oscar-nominated film.
Yeah. And practically everything on television. NCIS, Masters of Sex, Justified, The Thundermans, which Kathy Beach was on. Mad Men. She's been on Shameless twice. And in the past 3 years, she has booked 61 acting jobs in commercial television and film. Not that anyone's counting.
But who's counting?
Not that anyone's counting. She is an attorney, a lover of social justice. She's worked on both of the Obama campaigns, and I want to say Obama.
You just said Obama.
Obama.
She had my accent.
I did. I don't know why. I was like channeling you there a second, and I want to say that she's probably a huge reason why he was elected. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Totally
Welcome,
about that.
Jocelyn Ayanna.
Thank you. Attorney.
Fierce attorney.
Yes. Have you ever played attorneys? Have you played attorneys?
I have not.
What?
That is a disgrace.
But
not.
tell the story about how Denzel was like, oh, can we?
He was just. It was just funny because it was just they had a technical advisor. First of all, can I just say thank you?
Yes.
Of course you can.
No, we
you.
have to dive into your stories. You don't get to be grateful for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I just want to clarify, it's 61 over like the past 6 years.
Whatever.
Not 3. That would be amazing. That would
It's
be
still
even,
like way more than me, okay?
so-
I've had like 5 jobs in the last
thank
7
you,
years.
Lord, and thank you both for having me here.
I'm so happy
Eva,
you're
I
here.
adore
Yes.
you.
Oh, good. Are we
adore
besties?
you.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
See, it's not. It's not. It's not on her end. It's not on her end. Guys, it's not on her end. It's not. Who wants to be my bestie, guys?
Yeah.
You tell me. I want a
Because
bestie.
when your voice goes up like that,
No.
that's like, an
it means
indicator
no.
of truth.
It means no. It means no.
As a lawyer, you know that for
Yes.
real.
Yeah, it's like total truth. But
And
they
my
had
heart
to-
is broken a little bit, guys.
You know what you are?
I'm not even going to look at her for the
E.
rest of the show.
E, you know what you are?
What?
Look at me in the eyeball.
What?
Just the left one.
I'm looking. I'm
You're my
looking.
sister.
Oh, that's right. I'm her
Better.
sister.
You're my sister.
Work.
You're my sister. They had a technical advisor, and in the callback, I told the director, lawyer, all that jazz, political organizer, and then the technical advisor, I think she was stuck in trial, and so they started asking me questions, but I never did criminal law. It was political organizing, entertainment law, and some environmental litigation, and and he started asking me questions like, so would this book be there?
And by he, she means Denzel
Denzel
Well,
Washington.
the director Dan, and then Mr. Washington as well, who is
Mr.
like the
Washington. I just want you
coolest
to be-
cat. I don't even want to call him Denzel. He's the coolest cat. I really expected him. Can I say this on like UBN? Can I say this word?
Yes.
I thought he was.
You can say all the words.
I can say all the
Of
words.
course.
Oh, well,
Yes,
yeah,
it's
then.
internet, girl.
I can say all the words.
You can
Hell
say
yeah.
all the words.
When you think someone like he's huge, he is a double Academy Award winner.
Yes.
So you walk, and here's the thing: I've worked with people at way lower levels on the totem pole, and they've been complete dicks.
Oh yeah, they think they have like a bigger ego than the big
Oh my
ones.
God!
Yeah.
And so when you think about this person, and so I was all prepared.
Right.
I was like, he's gonna be.
My dreams are
horrible.
going to be crushed.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
it's okay. My dreams are gonna be crushed, and my feelings are gonna be hurt, and I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna cry Jesus after we wrap. I'd already had it planned out. I was like, he's gonna be awful. He's gonna hurt my feelings. I'm gonna do my job, go home and cry, and eat some donuts. And I was all prepared to grieve and then recover.
Yes.
Right.
He was so completely unassuming, down to earth,
I love it.
kind. I kept thinking in my head, do you not know who you are?
Right.
Do you know
Right.
you're Denzel Washington?
Do you know who
Right.
you are? I thought that like 37 times, and I had to stop. Like, Jocelyn, don't say that out loud.
Right.
Keep it in your head, inside voice.
But he was asking you.
Yeah, just like,
about
would this be
stuff.
on my desk, and
But-
where would I have?
But still, isn't that's kind of
It
extraordinary.
was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild. And we did, I don't remember how many takes we did. It was a bunch. But I remember only messing up on one. And here's why I messed up, because I forgot that I was an actor.
That's a
I
good
forgot
reason
that I was an
that's
actor
a good reason
there to
mess
do a
up.
job.
Wait, so what does that mean for people who don't know, like me?
That you do know.
I don't.
That, and because we're there to do a job. I played bailiff, whatever my name was, and I was there to do a job. My job was not to fan the hell out over Denzel Gorgeous Washington.
Right.
That was not my job.
Right.
He came there to do a job. The director, Dan, had a job. I had a job. First AD had a job. DP had a job. We all had jobs to do. And it just like hit me in this moment, because I got the first couple of takes, I was just fine. I was about to pee on myself, but I was just fine. And so then this one particular take, I made the mistake of looking like directly into his eyes for too long. And I was like,
Jocelyn, for those of you listening, Jocelyn is making a face that we will take a screenshot of.
I know.
And put on the
I'm
internet.
telling you.
It's just gonna be like hashtag Denzel.
I just had to catch myself. And in my head, I was like, get it together.
Yeah.
You're an actor.
Wait, so did you miss your line?
I just got stuck, and I was like, and I think I don't remember if someone said cut, I was probably dumb enough to say cut, honestly.
You said it.
That moment,
cut.
you know, I think I said, you know,
We gotta keep beating
I
this
said
microphone.
something. I don't know if I said like, can we go again, or can we? I'm sorry. I did apologize. I was
You're like, I'm sorry, I got lost in Denzel's eyes.
I'm sorry. I gotta, can we just, whatever. And I like quickly got out of it, and I was like, get it together. Get it together. It was like being in like a football huddle with myself. Get it together.
Yeah.
On 3. 1, 2, 3, team. You know. Oh, sorry. And I got it together like immediately, and then for the rest of the day, I was just fine.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
so great.
that
So
is amazing.
Whiplash was like this crazy, like, Academy Award, like in it. Like, were you kind of blown away when all that was happening compared to when you did that movie?
Damien Chazelle is a genius.
Yeah.
I was blown away by the script. I hadn't read the whole script until the actual table read. So I go in for the audition, and I had like one or two lines, and I play a passenger on a bus that gives him directions, and so happened to get off. And the scene, I think they cut my greatest moment out. I looked this way.
How dare they?
It was my moment.
I hope it makes the director's cut.
Made the whole movie.
Yeah.
But Damien Chazelle is a genius because I didn't see the script until the table read. I just knew my one little line. Like, seriously, it was like, oh, it's that way, and it's a block and a half, something like that, whatever the line was. But at the table read, and I'm flipping through the script, and it read like a thriller.
Oh, yeah.
It read like a thriller on the page.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, before you get to the theater itself, just like,
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie is really great. It's brilliant.
So
I don't
glad you got to be in
understand.
it.
His mind is. I don't understand how. I don't know how you do that with music. That's amazing.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you essentially made a movie about a band.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's genius. Yeah.
Well, and like having deaf parents, I wonder if like they got it even as much as like we would. You know what I mean? Like, I remember we were watching Dunkirk, and everybody and like all the hearing people were watching it, and we're like at the edge of our seats, like biting our fingernails because of the music. Like, the music is like, and you're just like, ah! And then my mom, we were like, Mom, what'd you think? She was like, eh. And I was like, oh.
What that adds to it.
But that's true with everything. Like, my mom's like, why are you guys so scared of earthquakes? We're like, they're loud, they're scary, they're so loud. And she's like, are they?
Things are just moving.
She's like, it's just like digga
moving.
digga
Just
digga
flow with
digga.
it. Go
My mom's
with
like, it's all
it.
cool. Who cares?
Go with
I'm like,
it.
that shit is loud.
It's funny.
Yeah,
I
is
love her.
very
She's
interesting.
interesting.
So you had this like whole life on the Obama campaign.
Yeah, but before you became an actor, you were
Yeah,
a lawyer, and then you worked on the Obama campaigns.
Yeah. Okay. What's the question? I'm sorry.
Well, I know a lot of actors actually who have been like, I'm leaving. I'm going to work on campaigns. Were you acting when you were doing that?
No.
Okay.
I had my come to Jesus moment about acting after the campaign.
Interesting.
And I give a lot of credit to the campaign for that, because it was really amazing. Forget the politics. Ideology aside, whether you agree with him, disagree with him, ideology aside, it was amazing to watch this guy decide now is my moment and go for it. And that kept resonating with me. And I believed in him. I believed in Michelle. I believed in their platform. I obviously shared ideology with them. All of us did. Obviously, every staffer, every volunteer, we all shared, that common ideology about leveling the playing field and making the American dream an actual reality for all Americans, you know?
Yeah.
And not just a privileged few. But after the campaign, I was really lost. I was really, really lost. I have a certain personality. I do not belong in the government. Because I don't mind telling you where to get off. I don't mind giving you my opinion, and it's not going to be pretty when I do.
It's not about that.
You know, so and government's full of bullshit. They want to play a lot of games, and they're playing games with people's lives.
Yeah.
The power is real. The stakes are high. And what happens on Capitol Hill directly affects what happens on Main Street, any town, USA.
Right.
And, but I wanted to always make a difference. I don't think I ever actually really wanted to be a lawyer. I think I just wanted to change the world, as cheesy as that might sound. And I thought the way to do it was to, become a lawyer, because I thought they were, sort of the agents of change.
I mean, well, listen, right now they for sure are. Are they not? I mean, any kind of
I don't think
progress
they're
that is working against what's happening right now is in the courts. I mean, and lawyers bringing up.
Eventually,
it's
movements,
slow and steady. Yeah.
Eventually, movements have to intersect with the government.
Yeah.
The Civil Rights Movement had to eventually become the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
But I think ultimately nowadays, especially, I don't think lawyers are the primary agents of change at all, and I think that's the way it should be. We the people should be the primary agents of change. I think when we are constantly looking to other people to lead us, to do things for us, then we abdicate our power. Interesting. And I remember years ago, probably about 20-something years ago, I was at some event, some civil rights something in Atlanta, and there were a group of young people, and they were asking, so who's going to be, the leader now? Who's going to be the leader? And I'm like, the leader of who? And they meant like the African community. I'm like, you can lead yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not decrying leadership. We all need it.
Sure.
But on some level, you can be your own leader.
And what ends up happening is that leaders will get taken out. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if you put all of that attention on a leader and depend so much on them, they will be taken down, as so many great leaders in the 60s were.
Yeah, I think that happens, but I also think it makes us lazy. Whether you're depending too much on the president or your pastor or the mayor or whoever, it sort of says, it kind of lets you off the hook. If I'm looking to you to make all the changes, then I don't really have to do my part. I've sort of kind of silently let myself off the hook. And that was the beautiful, it's a quote from Gandhi, be the change you want to see. And the thing we kept telling people in the campaign as we were, organizing across the country, is that ultimately the beauty of this campaign, the real victory in this campaign, is that we turn all of you into organizers and you go begin to be the change that you want to see. Right. Literally. And that came to pass. A number of organizers that worked under me in my region have run for office, are running for office, and 2 are in the assembly.
Amazing. Yeah. I want you to tell the crazy story about you being in the South.
In Missouri?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want you. I thought it was in East Texas.
No, that was in Kennett, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been in East Texas, but that happened in Missouri.
Tell me tell us the crazy story of the lady who opened the door and stayed on the phone the whole time.
So, I worked in about 10 or 11 states across the country.
Oh my God.
Oh, I didn't even work in the most. I'm sure there were people
She's
that
a
worked,
champ.
Like, people worked in way more than that.
See, Jocelyn's the reason why he got elected. I'm just saying. After the story, you will agree.
Yes, it's all me. But I started in California, and we thought that was going to be it. And then after the California primary, like literally a day or so later, we had like a big team dinner, campaign dinner, and they were saying, hey, so we've got primaries coming up in Ohio, we've got primaries coming up in Texas, and we want to try and get as many people as we can. And they were like, if you go to Texas, you shouldn't be there anymore. You'll be on the road no more than 3 to 4 weeks, and then you'll be back here in California. So just give us that. But David Plouffe was so good at managing the campaign and at managing money that we just never ran out of money, and we just kept going. And so what was supposed to be 3 weeks away from home turned into about 9-10 months. Wow. And then came back to California after that 9-10 months, and then went back to Missouri, which was my general election state. Okay. And so I'm training. I was in Kennett, which at the time sat in one of the poorest congressional districts in the country. At the time, it was like the 11th poorest. It probably is not that much higher up on the list, but just to give you an idea of what the town was like, it was one of those towns where there was one factory, and when the one factory shut down, it was over. Done. I think like the biggest employer after that was like literally the Walmart. So anyway, we're organizing there, and I have two young black male teenagers that are following me around the neighborhood because we're trying to train them. We're trying to teach them to organize. Because it was one thing to get Barack Obama elected, but we wanted all of this sort of progressive activism to continue long after he was elected again, and out of the White House. We want all of this stuff to continue because that's how change really, really happens. Right. And so training these guys, I knock on a door, and it's this little old white lady. She's probably 75, and she opens the door, and she sees, the three of us obviously, and she sees all my paraphernalia, Obama this, and I've got pamphlets and whatnot, and she says, I ain't voting for that nigger. and the two little boys just took off running. You know, and I got it because it was in one of those places that they called a sundown community. I didn't even know what that, and I didn't find out what that was until I got to East Texas.
Right.
In a sundown community or sunup community, depending on how they call it, is one of those places where you should not be after the sun goes down. If your kind doesn't live in that neighborhood, then you need to go back to your neighborhood before the sun goes down.
Holy
yeah
shit.
and we had a sheriff in Jasper, Texas tell us that,
which, mind you, this was like in 2007. This is not in the 60s, guys.
February 2008. March 2008. Yeah.
2008. Yeah.
So were you able to talk to that woman?
Oh.
Yeah. So the guys, so the little boys leave, and I got it because I was like, it was dangerous for them.
And they knew it.
Yeah. So they left, and I said, I understand your perspective, but I think if you give me just a few minutes, you'll understand that despite his race and despite the difference in your two races, he is much more closely aligned with what you want and need. And she said, okay. Now she's holding a rotary dial phone. The kind, have you ever seen one of those?
Yes, girl.
I don't know how old you are. You look 12. So
Oh my God, no. Probably the same age
kind,
as you, and yes, had one in my bedroom.
You know, so just like the kind
I
like
love that Jarvis is going to put up a rotary phone for the millennials that don't know what she's talking about.
because they are embryos.
Yes,
They are embryos. And so she's holding a rotary dial phone, and her daughter is on the other line. And so she's like, and she tells, how do I know? Because she says it, and she's like, there's this somebody, Obama, she's talking. I'm just going to stand here and let her talk. I already told her I ain't voting for him. You know, so she's got all the stuff, and I mean, she's got the phone. I've got all the stuff, and I'm talking. And we talk about everything from taxes to Part D and Medicare, prescription health care. You know, we talk everything she wants to talk about, we talk about. 30 minutes in or so, she's like, you won't come inside? And we're not supposed to do that.
Right.
But I was like, this is a big moment.
Yeah.
And I wanted her vote, obviously, but I wanted to hopefully change the conversation so that even after I left, even after, you know, hopefully I had her vote and he had her vote, that maybe it would change the way she talked to her grandkids.
Yeah.
And
Or even her
kids,
neighbors.
You know,
Right.
and maybe something would change there, you know?
Yeah.
Just ripples in the pond. And so anyway, I go in and she's like, you want some coffee or some tea? And my first thought was, you are not about to lynch me with a cup of coffee. That was serious. And I was like, no, thank you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I was like, you are not about to kill my black ass.
Get out wasn't even
My
written yet,
mama
but you
is
were
gonna
like,
be
you're not
"Where
going to
is
get out my ass.
baby?"
I'm not going to the sunken
It is
place
not- I was
with
like-
some of your white lady teeth.
I was like, it is not going down. This is not the end of my story. However this is happening, this is not going to be the end of my story. Dying in some old white lady's house over a cup of tea. She put some shit in it. It's like, yeah, damn,
You're like,
girl.
you're like, I love
You know,
Obama, but not
yeah,
that
what?
much.
I'm not dying for hope and change.
Oh
Not
my
doing it.
God. Oh my God.
Not fired
Okay.
up like that.
Oh my gosh.
So I sit on the couch and we're continuing
And
to
she's
have the
still on the phone.
holding the phone the whole time. Already knows this story.
Yes.
You can see.
Amazing.
So she's holding the phone and we're sitting on the couch and she's continuing to ask me things. Maybe 10 minutes after I've been in the house, she says, I just want to apologize to you for calling you that ugly word. It's just how I grew up. It's how I came up. I'm sorry. You are not that, and I'm sorry about that. Wow. And I was like,
Chills.
it's okay.
Chills.
You came up in the same era as my grandparents. I get it. You know, and so then she takes the brochure and she hands me the phone. She's like, tell my daughter everything you told me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I left her with brochures and she was like, I'm going to vote for him, and I never knew anything about him. That's why conversations are important.
Right.
Yeah.
Because here is someone who was likely getting all of her news from
Yeah.
like effing Fox News or, you know, some racist neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said the stuff that I told her was public information.
Yeah.
It was on the website, it was on brochures. He was
Right.
doing rallies across the country, but she didn't know any of that.
Right. And
You know, because
and-
we don't bother to talk to each
Right,
other.
but the fact
Right.
that you pushed through that initial fear, you know what I mean? That you hung
It wasn't
in-
fear for me.
Right. I would have been afraid.
No, it was anger.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
was-
even the fact that you pushed through that, even when people around you were in fear, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of
like the other boys ran
running
away.
and
Yeah, which I
leaving.
got. I didn't
Yeah.
expect them to stand their ground and fight that
Yeah.
battle. They hadn't signed up for that.
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, we were trying to make things better for them.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
But that
absolutely.
is an amazing gift of that actually is actors' work. If you really,
I mean,
think
it's
about
really
it.
like a
Dealing
gift of
with your
mercy. You know what I mean?
emotions that way, like being able to like roll with that emotion into the next because of the greater good. You know what I mean? Like that's actually acting work. That's kind of what we do. Like if you have the story to tell and someone's story is not to react and to sit there and take something, that doesn't mean that you as an actor aren't necessarily going to react to something. You just have to roll to the other feeling that is what that character's story. So the fact that you could stand there in that anger and push through like that's like a gift is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked at that moment too because I was immediately hot, like physically hot,
yeah,
angry.
I'm sure.
I thank God that I was able to sort of quickly process that there was something bigger at play than my emotions.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's what a great story. We have to take a quick break.
Take a baby break.
But we're going to come back and do a couple hot topics with you. Are you down?
I'm down.
Jocelyn,
yes, I
people
shall be
are
down.
loving you on Facebook. Like, I cannot tell you all the things that people are saying. They're amazing. Keep coming, guys. Keep coming.
Okay,
we'll
we're
be
gonna
back.
be
Plus
back.
quick break.
Promotional consideration brought to you by Melissa Massey. Custom clothing isn't exclusively for the rich and famous. Melissa Massey is custom-made clothing for everyday wear. A unique combination of custom tailoring and deluxe fabrics that is well made and fit for every size and frame. Made in LA, sold in LA, and online at melissamassey.com. Promotional consideration provided by Scrubs Body, a woman-owned business with scrubs so natural they're good for your public parts and your private parts. Scrubsbody.com. It's not the natural beauty products in your life, but the life in your natural beauty products. Linda Kammen's Aromatherapy Salon, lindacammons.com, for happier, healthier living.
We're back.
We're back with Jocelyn Ayanna.
She is a rock star.
Jocelyn, do you sing?
I do.
Of course you do. You're so talented.
Hey.
We're going to have karaoke night with all our guests, just so you know.
Wait, we have to
almost all of
just
them-
get clear because I want to know, do you identify as a fat actress? Because we do, but not everybody does. Some people have like a weird thing about that word. So I'm just curious if that's like an offensive word to you or not.
It's not offensive to me, but I don't like identify as that.
Do you, how do you describe, like if,
Oh, I'll say big girl.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually defer to that more often than fat. Still,
Yeah,
even though I'm more comfortable with fat.
I got really, really yelled at by my therapist yesterday by saying, again, that she really doesn't want me to use that word, fat.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, that's
It's
interesting.
a lot of baggage.
Oh, yeah. It was like we had like a whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll
It's
tell
hard-
you guys
yeah.
later when we go hang out after.
For sure. Speaking of fat actresses, no.
It sounds like a show.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Totally was.
With Kirstie Alley.
Yeah. Kirstie
Fat
Alley had a
actress.
fat actress.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Her voice went up. She totally doesn't.
No, I was thinking Fat Amy from Pitt. I was like, Fat actors. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Totally. So Charlize Theron is in a new movie called Tully with Diablo Cody film, who she's worked with before. And it's about a woman who is pregnant, has a baby, and her husband, as a gift, gets her a nice night nurse. And she had apparently gained 50 pounds, did it
50,
say?
yeah.
According to Page 6. Of course, it's Page 6, so we're like taking everything with a grain of salt here. But this is what it said, and I'm just quoting. She goes into gluttonous detail, adding, "I would literally wake up at 2 a.m. and I'd have a cup of cold macaroni and cheese just to sit next to me." Just
sitting next to you, yeah.
Just next to me.
Yeah.
The Oscar winner shared, "I would wake up and would eat it. I would just like shove it in my throat. It's hard to maintain that weight."
Kathy's really mad about this. This could almost be a plus this bitches, but
I'm gonna
we're
try
just
to
not.
I'm gonna try to Jocelyn it and like get through my anger to another side and have a conversation. But
I read that and I was like, macaroni and cheese. So Tuesday. It was a Tuesday for you, right?
I mean,
Tuesday.
But do you seriously sleep with food next to your bed because you wake up in the middle of the night to eat it?
I do not.
Exactly. And this is our point.
I
like
do not.
this thing. Notice that she didn't say it's hard to it was hard for me to maintain that weight. It's hard to maintain that weight, meaning it's fat people. This is how fat people must live.
They must live like
This is my insight to fat people, let alone a pregnant person who had just carried a child in her body.
Right.
It's just so infuriating because that's just not true. It's now a Hollywood actress saying that she wanted to really have the feeling of somebody going through this, and what she takes away from it and what the press gets is it's really hard to be fat. People really
should not
should
eat.
not be
That's
eat.
sleeping. They shouldn't sleep with macaroni next to them. And I'm like, first of all, I have never slept with food next. I do not eat in the middle of the night. Shocker, guys. I don't eat in the middle of the night. I don't wake up and go, hey, I'm hungry. I wake up sometimes and I'm like, I gotta pee. But I do not ever have to eat a snack.
Yeah. And she was even talking
I
about,
actually know that athletes have to do that. Athletes wake up in the middle of the night hungry.
yes, for sure.
I don't know one fat person
I will
who
say
does.
when I was doing 8 shows a week on Broadway and would come home at 2 a.m, like clockwork, my stomach would be like, "Bruh!" But also at the end of my show, which was at 10:42 every night, I had this crazy energetic number, and that's just where my biorhythm went. And I would often snack on something, but all that aside, none of it matters. Charlize Theron, if you actually said this and we think you meant it in the way that you did, which maybe you didn't because it's page 6, we are mad at you.
Yeah.
And we don't understand why the Hollywood community is not saying, yo, you don't get to talk to people like that. That's actually not how fat people get fat and stay fat.
Right.
That's actually not how that
You're
happens.
upset that the Hollywood community hasn't stood up for people?
Well, I mean, just even other fat people.
And other fat people, other fat actresses.
Or other fat activists.
Yeah.
Haven't said what?
Yeah.
We're the kind of for the first people who are
People say dumb shit all the time in Hollywood.
well, yes, this is true. And we usually call them out about it, which
they
is why
say
we're
lots
calling
of
them
dumb
out.
stuff.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I just had no expectations that someone. I had no expectations that someone would stand up and say, "Hey, that was mean and inappropriate. Change your mind.
Wait,
Do better."
but if she had said something about a gay person or a black person, they would.
Yeah.
But because it's a fat
don't know.
person
Or even a pregnant person.
a pregnant woman, yes, because
Yeah.
men don't get pregnant.
Well, some trans people do, but
That's a whole other thing.
but I'm just saying.
I don't know if they would have stood up for those other marginalized classes. I'd like to think so. I just don't believe they necessarily would have. I think that, it's like you were saying a minute ago. If you said this and you said it in the context in which we think you said it, I don't know. I read it and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because, and understand this, not that I don't share your ire. I do. But I'm a black woman, so that means I'm black and a woman. I'm a double marginalized class.
For sure.
And so I'm used to fighting some sort of cultural battle and add the bigness to it. Good Lord. It's just always something.
Yeah.
Not that I've necessarily given up, but I have to reserve my ire for real shit.
Yeah.
So for her saying that, it said to me, if she said it, and if she said it in that way, then I think she is definitely severely out of touch. And she's not severely out of touch with an alien. She's severely out of touch with people that walk the street.
Right.
People that work jobs and are moms and dads and
out of touch with anyone who's given birth. You're talking about you want to get in touch with that feeling of the feeling of a pregnant person, which you've never been.
And then she said, but
pregnant women don't do that.
No.
I have plenty of godchildren and nieces and nephews, and I don't know one pregnant woman who's set the alarm to wake up and eat macaroni and cheese cold.
No. And then she said and then I was eating so much processed food that I was really, really depressed. And I'm just like,
yeah,
just stop, Charlize. Just stop.
Yeah. Let's put aside the fact that, yes, I know that collaboration wanted to happen, but I got this sent to me by a fellow actress, Donna Champlin, and she was like, don't you think a fat actress could have played this part? And I was like, yes.
Or somebody who actually just had given birth.
Yeah. Or, all of the things. Yes, all of it. But those two people wanted to work together, and that's what they get to do, apparently.
Sure.
But also, it doesn't, why are we still playing these games with people transforming themselves in any kind of way when we've made it clear we keep having people on the show like you, like Eva, like myself, like others. There are plenty of us out there to do these gigs.
Right.
And if you really wanted to tell that story, why is it depending on that star? They could have made the husband of the movie just like a really, really famous person and made that be somebody that has actually gone through that experience instead of writing up these crap articles. I didn't even know what this movie was about, by the way, until this was my first impression of this movie.
Right.
And all it does is make I was like, what the hell is Tully? And now, of course, I'm just mad at it.
Right.
Well, let me say this. I will say that aside from the movie, part of the problem is that we all continue looking at each other as other than.
Right.
Well, for sure.
But that's part of the problem, though. What happened with that is a microcosm of the fact that we continue to not have conversations and we continue to look at each other as other than. Like different marginalized groups not being able to understand what another group is going through. Just because you're not going through that factually doesn't mean you can't empathize and say, hey, how would I like to be treated? How would I like to be referenced or talked about in that context?
Right.
This is not some alien that lives on another planet.
Right.
This is a woman.
Right.
Who's had a baby and who ate. And we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Because and if she's depressed and if she feels badly and whatever's going on, we can all relate to each other in some way. On the campaign, Barack Obama used to say, we all have much more in common than we have out of common.
I absolutely agree
and that's
with that.
true, but we don't really live by that. We don't really think really think like that. When I hear people compare like Black Lives Matters to the Klan, which is literally a terrorist group. And I think about people, they're having to shout Black Lives Matter because you act like their lives don't matter.
Right.
Women are having to stand up in Me Too because you act like they don't matter.
Right. Yeah.
So all of these different things, a lot of this could be resolved if we would just have a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And just empathize and just realize that the person sitting across from you isn't nearly as different as you think.
For sure. I would like to have a conversation with Charlize Theron's press person and say, this messaging is not good if you want fat people to come see your movie. I mean, that's basically it. I want to have...
If you want 67% of American
Yeah, I was about to say, other women as well.
Right.
Yeah. Because this is not the way to get people in the seats.
No.
This is not just like we don't talk about, like, you don't get to talk about most marginalized groups in any kind of way. Fat people seem to be at the bottom of the food chain.
I'll agree with that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like still fat jokes get to be made. Like you can make a comment like this and it slips through and it goes through. Like I'm done with that. Like I'm ready to have the conversation.
Okay.
For sure. About it.
She's ready to push through with the lady on the phone and have the conversation about
I'm
fat
still
people.
in my anger. Okay,
wait. So the time is up, and now we're supposed to ask you how people can follow you, but you are a secret agent, and she does not have any social media.
I have a Facebook page.
You do? Tell us all about it.
I have a Facebook fan page.
Oh, tell us how we can find you.
Look, I don't want to brag, but I think I have 28 followers.
Okay.
28. Ow!
I think we could double that, guys. Can you guys all go and
to
double
Jocelyn
her fan
Ayanna?
page?
I think it's just Jocelyn Ayanna.
Okay.
The fan page.
We'll find it.
Okay.
I definitely tagged you personally.
And it's my
I'm
face.
sorry.
It's my face.
It's your face.
Yeah, it's not like a banner
And,
or
we're also going to coerce her into getting an Instagram account.
She has to get an Instagram account and
And
share her
we're
life
gonna
with
make
people.
that happen.
So I can sit online and argue with people
You
about
don't
dumb
have
stuff.
to
need
argue.
to
We explain
Instagram
that.
is
It's
not
just
a fighting
pictures
place.
if you
It's
want.
just pictures.
Just pictures.
And then you're just like, and block, and block.
And you can always
block.
find us
Which is
at
why
Plus.
I'm barely on Facebook now.
I know.
It's really-
We know all the things.
We're at Plus the show as usual.
Like, subscribe, and share, please.
And we have a guest next week
Yes, our
that we've
guest is
been
gonna be
wanting for
fun.
2 seasons to have on.
Yes.
She's a co-owner of the Plus Bus. And I'm
Yes.
going to let Eva say her name because I have
Her
a
name
hard
is
time.
Marcy Guevara.
Guevara.
I was going to say her married name.
C. Guevara.
Marcy Guevara.
She's the owner of the Plus Bus, and
She's co-owner with
co-owner
Jen.
with
Remember
Jen
we had her
Wilder.
on
We had her on the show, and she is also a producer. So we'll have her here next week. Thank you guys. We'll
Oh
see
my
you
gosh,
next
thank
week.
you, Jocelyn.
Thank you
for
for having me.
Will you
Thank
come
you.
back? Will you come back?
Yeah.
Okay, we love you.
Awesome sauce. We love
Thank
you guys.
you.
See you next week. Plus this. Plus this. Hi.